I'm going to be talking about some deep inherent problems that we face in the black community. Some of these problems I feel like have been affecting us for a very long time. And sadly, we haven't been able to kind of find a work around it. The first way to work around these problems, and I'm just going to outline them right after I provide the step. We got to acknowledge that the problems are there. We got to acknowledge that these problems are inherently affecting us on a physical, a mental, and emotional level. All right. And the first problem I'm going to outline that affects the black community more than anything is partying and clubbing. Guys, I just don't understand the point of celebrating or living for the weekend or actually just understanding what's your motive. What are you celebrating? It's one thing if you have a birthday and you throw a party then and you're like, yes, I'm celebrating life. But if you're in the club every week in, week out, and you expect to make progress out of your life, you're not making progress because you're in that club just celebrating absolutely nothing, right? That there's nothing that club can offer you of value, and that's the truth. That's seriously how it stands. And until you acknowledge that, you won't put yourself in a good enough position to thrive for the future. So that's the first thing I would say that's affecting black youth for sure, or even just black culture in general. The next thing has to revolve around drinking. I'm gonna keep this language kind of PG here. Drinking. It more or less revolves around the party culture, like drinking, kind of flinging, getting with the chick, and as they would call it, and just doing all those substances, whether that's a beverage. Again, I'm keeping my language as friendly as possible here. This stuff is poison. What they have taught us about moderation has been minimal to none. Those drinks, right? And I'm assuming you're doing it on a weekly basis. It's ruining you. What's even worse, I think, is probably the substances that are like endorsed more or less within the media that we consume as black people, whether that's movies, hip hop music. Right, there is just so much that is feeding us the wrong things. We're taught that these are the things we need to be successful. Like we need to be, selling dope and stacking money on top of the roof in order to be seen and even considered. But I'm letting you know right now, these are holding you back, right? When you participate in these activities, you are just creating a void. You're opening your liver for damage. You're opening your brain for damage. These things do not supply any value to your brain, okay? Which is vital for your overall development, okay? And until you realize the fact that, going to a club or a party, getting home at 3 a.m., waking up hungover the next day, you're depleting your life, and you're just getting further away from your purpose. You really aren't having fun, and I can tell you're not having fun. Here's how I know you're not having fun. You can't survive the night without a drink, and that's the sad truth. That's been the inherent truth. I kid you not. From everybody I know who participates in that clubbing, they cannot go there with just a authentic peace of mind. It's not the environment for that. You're really just there to kind of be seen, to impress, to get with people, right? When it comes to pursuing a partner as well, like that takes time. You don't understand. Relationships are long-term commitments. They can't just happen over a fling. Like it is very unlikely that, and I can't speak for everybody, I can just say that it's extremely unlikely that you'll be in a position where you feel that you will actually accomplish a successful, meaningful connection with somebody when both of you are under the influence of alcohol, right? Like, I don't know what you expect me to say at that point. Like I can't buy into the lie and say I'm optimistic that this will be a life-changing opportunity for you. I could be wrong, but if you compare that to just like working on yourself, creating your own business, establishing your own principles, going to the gym, right? I could literally think of a million other better ways to actually effectively communicate with somebody and gain common ground without feeling the need to engage in such activity, right? So media consumption as well. That rap music, I don't know what they're teaching kids in modern hip hop. I come from an era, right, where music actually had a theme and a message. It was about love. It was about collaboration. It was about unity, right? Black people uniting. Now all you see is just black people fighting on the microphone. You know when your musicians are talking to you, right? When they're on the microphone and they're making music for you, it's not them talking. And I gotta be real with you. It is not them. It is not them, okay? They're under the influence of a heavily controlled substance. And sadly, they're not able to actually gain even just a sense or an idea of what really is the reality of the situation. They're under control of the substance. They're under control of the label. They're just under, they're not speaking authentically. I can tell you for a fact that there is no meaning in that music. You can even tell by the lyrics that they're producing, all right? Even the shows that they're watching, right? You see how much like black people are just objectified on TV, right? It's embarrassing, and it hurts, because I'm confident there are brothers out there who are fighting for a better image for just for a younger generation. And sadly, we're faced with these circumstances that hold us back. So the only way I can actually see this turning out in a decent way is if we kind of reverse these things that are ruining our community, all right? The nightclubs and the parties, for sure. The substance use must go. Like, cut it cold turkey. That stuff is ruining your life. It's ruining your train of thought. It is hurting your potential on a spiritual level. I guarantee you refrain from doing any of that stuff. Watch how healthier you feel. Watch how better off you are physically, mentally, right? And yeah, I just feel like you really have to understand what's holding you back if you want to progress. And I say these things because I love my community, and I know it's not our fault that we've engaged in these activities. I know the system has more or less maneuvered us into a life where we kind of assume that, I'm going to use a code word here, grass or gas. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. We use that as a way to cope with oppression or pain or stress, right? Because that's all we know. We haven't been taught how to read. We haven't been taught how to kind of gain a community and deal with our problems appropriately. So this is the problem we face. And until we acknowledge that it's a problem, we will never get far. And I can only tell you right now, this will get significantly worse if we continue going down this path, okay? So when you really see the true purpose and the motive behind people, right? And you realize this one thing, I'm gonna share with you some game, right? There is no such thing as somebody who wants you, or somebody, most people should I say, who want to see you have more joy and have a better time than them, all right? You are not benefiting anybody by posting your stuff online, flexing your chains, spending all that money on things that are kind of used to impress other people. You will never grow that way. You will only grow by actually working on yourself, doing the things that actually help you gain understanding of yourself, right? And once you actually understand that, you put yourself in a suitable position to actually just grow, to really establish better life, to establish principles, and to just be overally just grounded. Try what I'm saying, and please just work on yourself.